All right. First off, I want to thank everybody for hitting the subscribe button. I want to thank everybody for watching the ads, at least 33 seconds or so of them. I appreciate that. That's how I get paid. That's how YouTubers get paid. So I appreciate that. I also want to thank everybody for giving me suggestions for writing videos. I want to give everybody a kudos if you are purchasing my books, or if you are going down below the description and you're purchasing any of the items that are there. I also get paid through that. So, 15 years of full-time author ship, and I don't want to get a regular job. So please keep supporting me. I greatly appreciate it. This is another great idea somebody sent me. I have no idea who it was. I'm sure you know who you are, and you will say, well, I gave you that idea. Thanks for not giving me any credit. You're welcome. How I choose when to write. Okay. So a lot of questions I go YouTube live Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time for about 2 hours, hour and a half to 2 hours, every one of those days. And I'm supposed to be writing. Although my friend Keith points out all the time, what are you supposed to be writing now? Okay. I don't need that kind of pressure, buddy. I don't need that. I'll get the writing in. I like to talk too. I like to talk about myself. So when am I writing? So I guess right now the thing would be, well, I'm writing at noon to about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay. That's what I'm supposed to be writing. A lot of times I'm writing like 400 or 500 words if I'm lucky. And I have days where I write a lot of words in that time, which is good. A lot of chit chat in the chat itself. Got 7 or 8 people who are throwing random ideas, and we're talking about random things and whatnot. Normally, my schedule is going to be that I try to write every day, and I don't try to force myself on a particular time, but I do know myself. I know I'm not going to get up early. Okay. 15 years as a full-time author. I don't set an alarm clock. I don't even have an alarm clock in my room. Although I guess now we use our phones. My wife gets up about 8 o'clock. We'll call it 8 o'clock every morning to go to work Monday through Friday. I hardly ever hear her. I never hear her alarm go off. Never hear her get out of bed. She could drop a bomb. It doesn't matter. I'll roll out of bed about 8:30. The old man clock in my head turns on. Now I'm going to bed at like 11 o'clock at night, reading maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. So I'm getting my 8 or 9 hours of sleep every day, my beauty sleep. So normally my routine is then I will do some emails. I'll do other stuff, but I won't really look at the writing that what I've written, what I need to write until about 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Usually between 10 and 11, I'm either doing emails or I'm doing playing my baseball game out of the park. 26. I gotta check in on that. 27 now. Out of the park 27. Sorry. So I'll do that for about 10, 15 minutes, kind of clear the head. I've already done my coffee of the day video, probably around 9 o'clock or so. So that coffee has kicked in. I might go for a second cup, although lately I have not. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna look and see what I finished yesterday. And I do this thing. I try to do this thing where I end whatever I've written in a fragment of a sentence. I start a sentence, and it could be as simple as Tucker said. I don't know what Tucker's gonna say now. Let me figure out what Tucker's gonna say next. Again, I'm a total pantser too. Or I will say I'll just have some random line. The pickup truck came around the bend. Well, I don't know who's in that pickup truck at that moment. When I wrote the thing yesterday, I had no idea who was in that pickup truck. I just kind of gave myself a clue, a writing prompt to get the next line in. And my goal is like 500 words at that point. Okay, if it's a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, I just want to write like 500 words, which means at 10 o'clock, I start my Mondo method, which I've done another video of. And I know I got 15 minutes to write that 500 words. Usually not a problem. I will knock that out, whatever book, whatever short story, whatever I'm working on. I have good days and I have bad days, obviously, on it. Some days I can't. It's like pulling teeth. I can't figure out what the next word's going to be. So I'll jump to another project. I'll jump to another book or another short story or something like that. Lately, as I am not adding more and more stuff to my writer's plate, I'm kind of sensing that little tinge of stress of, well, wait a minute, if I don't write in this Southern Gothic noir thriller book that I'm writing, there's nothing else for me to write in right now. There's a couple of Patreon things. One of them just came to an end, so I got to start a brand new one. Some short stories. Do I have any short story ideas that I can just kind of pull out of the ether and start right now? So it's stressful in that capacity, but I know I want to finish this book, and I know I'm in the last third of this book now. So I'll try to write them, because then I feel like, hey, I just knocked out 500-600 words on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I know if I write another 500-600 words in those 2 hours of talking to everybody, I get my 1096 in for the day, my 1,096 words, which is 400,000 words for the year. And so I'm happy with that. I don't need to write 5,000 words a day anymore. I don't need to stress over all that. Now, on a Tuesday and a Thursday, on the days that I'm not writing, and I've spent like months writing all 5 days during the week, and I've stopped doing that because it's just too much pressure on me, and I have other things that I have to do. Those are the days where I'm like, okay, like, so for instance, like Tuesday, I wrote 1,267 words, and that was not going online. That was literally, I literally went out and got myself a pizza, and then I came home, I ate part of the said pizza, and then I wrote. And it was like, I have all day to write. I'm saying, on a Tuesday, my wife goes to her mother's for work, and she'll work from home, but she works at her mom's. So from, say, on a normal week, she's gone by like 9 a.m. And then she doesn't come home till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So I got the whole day. Lunch, dinner, I'm on my own, whatever else I got to do. So if I'm not going YouTube live on that Tuesday, and the same with Thursday, then I'm like, you know what do I have to do? Nothing. I have to write. So those are going to be my big writing days, as far as I know. I'm going to get I have to get my 1096 in on those days, unless I got, I don't know, lunch or something else is going on. Usually not happening. So that's when I'm writing. Okay. I'm writing during the day. By like 2 o'clock, I'm burned out. By 2 o'clock, I'm tired. I might play my baseball game for a little bit. I might play Minecraft. I haven't played Minecraft in a while. I might watch some videos. I might watch other people like Charlie Walls or Lorraine Mazel, other YouTubers. I watch their videos because I enjoy them. Sometimes I will blast some music all afternoon, and I'll just be going through emails, or I'll be, whatever I'm doing, I'm searching for something. Might be doing some research for a book, because again, I need to write about this sawmill. Let me research about a sawmill without going down the rabbit hole like my previous video. So that for me is my sweet spot. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is usually going to be the time that I'm writing. Occasionally I get excited. I'm working on something. I have an idea. And I'll jump back in and I'll write, but I don't do any, I'm not like, oh, I got to write for the next 32 minutes. And I'm just, by say 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, I'm like, day is over. Okay, I've done this from almost 9 to 5, so I'm done for the day. I've worked as much as I can. Mentally, I'm drained. I'll go and sit and I'll watch baseball. I'll watch a Netflix show. I'll watch something, or I'll read. A lot of times, too, let's be honest, I'm old. 2 o'clock, I'm like, all right, done with YouTube Live. I'm going to take a nap. I read a chapter of something or whatever, and then I'll go take a nap. So now I'm refreshed. 5 o'clock, I'm refreshed. My wife should be home by about 6 o'clock on a normal day, when she's not going to her mother's all day, or Thursday night she goes after work. She goes and has dinner with her mom, and she's not home till 10:30. So on those days, I'm not writing after 2 o'clock or so. Now, there are some times where I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching something and something clicks, or I take a shower and something clicks. I get an idea or something, and I'm like, you know what? This might be a good idea. I had one of those yesterday, as a matter of fact. I was watching television. I was watching a Netflix show, a series that I started. I think it's like 10 years old or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I like these thriller foreign shows. I think it's filmed in Finland or something. And I'm watching it, and out of nowhere, and it had nothing to do with what I was watching, but all of a sudden my brain said, hey, why don't you do this with this character in this book? This minor character, you've been trying to figure out what's the point of this character. And I paused the show. Now it's like, 6:30. I know my wife's not going to be home till 10:30, so I'm on my own. And I get up and I come in here and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna plug this in. I'm gonna figure out what chapter roughly this would be, and I'm just gonna plug in the idea. Blah blah does blah blah blah. Simple enough. Then I get an opening line for that chapter. So I start writing, and I end up writing like 650 words, and again, like 15 minutes on that chapter. And I'm like, you know what? That's enough. Good enough. That's not normal. I'm normally not 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. I'm writing. And so for me, that's kind of not a normal thing. There are times where I have when I'm going through like fighting anxiety, stress, depression, whatever, and it's 4:30 in the morning, probably once a month. I'm wide awake, 4:30 in the morning, boom, wide awake. And I'm like, let me go and just do some emails. And there are times when I will go, let me just play around in this document. Let me just write something. And then I'll end up getting a few hundred words in. So that's always good. I know there's other people that have full-time jobs. When I had a full-time job, I would get up super early in the morning, and I would like 500 words I was happy with. If I can get something in, I would be thinking about the story all day. I might be taking notes in a pad or a piece of paper in my pocket. Sometimes I would send myself emails with ideas and stuff in it. I mean, whatever works. As a writer, we're always writing. As a writer, we're always thinking about the book. We're always thinking about the story, about what's the twist, what's this, what's that. And for me, you don't ever stop just because you're sitting around. And now again, when I had a full-time job all those years, I thought, man, I can't wait to, if the dream would be to go full-time and I can write 15 hours a day. I mean, 1,000 words a day. I could write 15,000 words every day. That ain't happening. Especially as I get older. My brain power is diminishing. It feels like I'm not going to get the words that I thought I would be getting in. Okay. So that being said, I figured out where I'm writing. Now, again, it also depends on what's going on. So on a Saturday, I'm not writing at all. And it took me a long time to get over myself and go, well, I'm a writer. I got to write every day, blah, blah. No, I don't. Saturday is the only day my wife and I have the whole day together, unless there's things being planned. Okay. And a lot of times those plans usually will include the other person anyway. Okay. I would say about half of the Saturdays every month, we don't have anything to do. And on the Saturdays that we do, a lot of times she's like, "You want to come with me to this thing?" Or I'll say, "You want to come with me to this thing?" And we'll go, or at least we'll, "Hey, let's go to Waffle House. You want a pecan waffle? Let's go get it." That kind of thing. I'm thinking writing because again, you're a writer. There's always ideas, and I'm out and about, and I'm always listening. I'm always eavesdropping on people's conversations. I'm always trying to figure out other people. Okay, studying people. I'm studying an argument. I'm studying the way people look at each other. I'm making up stories about them in my head for fun. Um, all of that. And so, but I'm not going to run home and sit down and write because it's the only day I get with my wife. Now, Sundays, she gets up at, by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. She's gone. She's at her mother's all day. Okay. Until 10:30 at night. And so Sundays I have to myself. Sunday mornings, as I'm recording this, Peter Marsh and Chad Lutsky, sometimes Frank Edler, sometimes Amanda Ward, we will get together on StreamYard on a Sunday morning about 9 a.m. and we will write for an hour or two. We'll talk a lot, but we'll also get writing. And usually will get my writing in then. I'll usually get my 1,000 words, maybe even 2,000 words. I'll get my writing in then. I feel good. It's 11 o'clock now. I'm going to go make myself something to eat. I'm going to watch some Netflix, or I'm gonna watch a baseball game. 1 o'clock baseballs. I'm watching baseball and I'm on the couch, me and the cats, relaxing, and that's my day. Very rarely on a Sunday do I write again. Okay. So, some people will look at it and they go, "Well, you're wasting a lot of time and you're doing other things." No, the goal is to get my work in first and then reward myself with watching a movie, watching a documentary, going and lying down and reading. I mostly never go, "Well, I'll write later. I want to finish this chapter. I want to read this chapter. I want to just watch one more episode of this." Or, "Well, the baseball game's starting. I don't want to." No. You get your work in first. And I think that's important. But also the reality of not important that I need to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, at 5 o'clock in the morning and write. That to me doesn't sound like I would get much done, and I would be miserable. That I'd be tired. I'd be taking a 3-hour nap instead of a 2-hour nap. That doesn't make any sense to me. Years ago, when NaNoWriMo was the thing, everybody remember NaNoWriMo before that imploded? I would do this thing where it's November 1st, it starts. So I would do Halloween. Me and my wife are sitting out there. We're giving away candy. We're giving away comic books. We're giving away books. And, it's 9 o'clock and it's dark and we close everything up and we hang out until and I stay up. I've taken a nap that day. I'm well refreshed. I make a pot of coffee. As soon as midnight hits, and now it's all of a sudden it's November 1st, I do my first sprint of at least, that was 1,666 words to hit the 50,000 in the month. And I was trying to do at least 2,000 words to get a good start. And then I would write until only maybe 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. And I would get my words in. I would go to bed. I would tell my wife, do not wake me up in the morning. And then I would sleep in, which normally was 8:45 instead of 8:30. And then I would jump right back in and I would write. And I would burn myself out doing that because then I was writing all day. All day I'm writing just to try to go, how quick can I get to 50,000 words? The late, great Jay Wilburn was amazing at doing this. And he would be like, "Well, I'm 2,500 words a day because I want this done in 20 days. And he would push me to do that as well. And I would be burned out. But I would get the book, those 50,000 words done. A lot of times I would keep writing and just finish the book for the month. So that was exciting. We don't do NaNoWriMo anymore. Jay's not here anymore. But I've learned that I don't need to do 7 days a week. There were times, and I keep track of it all on a spreadsheet. And there were times when I looked and I would count back and I go, wow, I wrote for 287 days in a row or something ridiculous like that. Every single day. and it was too much. I was pushing myself too much. I was burning myself out. I'll probably do a video on that at some point soon as well. When you don't want to do too much. You want this to be fun. Yeah, it's a business, it's a job. I get that. This is how I make my money. But I want to enjoy myself. I don't want this to become, oh, I got to write 1096 words to let me just get it done. No, I don't ever want to get to that point. So I don't think I've gotten to that point, which is nice, but there are times when I just kind of have to pull back. I'm sure there will be points coming up in the next year or so where I go, you know what? I'm not doing YouTube live on any of these days. I'll do like 2 days or maybe 1 day this week, but I'm burned out. I need a break. Okay. I need a rest. I also don't want to ever say to my wife, well, we can't go on vacation. Oh, it's our anniversary again. Well, I can't leave because it's a Friday and I'm doing YouTube live. No, I never want to do that. Priorities are super important for me now. I don't want my wife or my kids or my friends to feel like, oh, you're second fiddle because of the writing. In my mind, most of the time, because I'm a selfish, egotistical jerk, yeah, you are second class citizens in my head. I'm sorry. It's the truth. Because the writing is so important to me, because this has been the dream since 12 years old. I hope you learned something about me. Again, Armand's opinion. This is me rambling. And I don't think I went too much off in the weeds this time. Crazy. Thank you for hitting the subscribe button. Thank you for watching at least 30 seconds or so of each ad. That's how we get paid. Check out the random products I'm going to put at the bottom of this and every video. And if you see something you like, click on it. Buy something. Purchase yourself something. Be good to yourself.